Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Thursday, January 29, 2009. This morning I'd like to continue the tutorial on ObjectStudio by going down to this checkboxes and menus option to see how we can have checkboxes and menus interact with some equivalents. So we set options in a checkbox, the menu responds, and vice versa. So let's go ahead and load this. And once that's in, you'll see that I have this checkbox example. So let's just fire it up and see what happens. You see I have this group 1 whose menu options seem to consist of these three items here. Notice when I checked this box, suddenly that enabled. Now we'll go to group 2. I have these two items. Now let's check this box. Now I have those three. Let's uncheck that and check that. And then suddenly I have those. So things are synced up together. So whatever I check in the boxes happens with the menus. So these are individual checkboxes. This is what's called a checklist group. So I have a grouping of an arbitrary number of these just synced together so that they line up nicely on the form. Let's close this though and take a look at how that works in the editor. So let's edit this, and you see that I have these two things here. I have the individual checkboxes, and then I have this thing which is a list of checkboxes. So let's take a look at an individual one by double clicking. Here we have option 1. We'll go to methods, and you see that its assigned method is set option 1. Not too terribly difficult. Now we'll go to number 2, same thing. Hit methods, set option 2. So that's pretty much how individual checkboxes work. Let's take a look at the list. You see here we have a list of labels, a list of assigned values, so it kind of automates that through this way. You can add or insert or delete items here. If I go to methods, you see that they all go to this CBList method, which is going to look in the list to see which one has been selected and either set or unset the value. Now to see how that goes, what we're going to do is we're going to close the designer, and we're going to go over to the code for it. So let's hit browse, bring the browser up into view, and we'll look here in CBList. What it does is cItemDict, which is the dictionary of options in group 2, and put the current value. So it does a get value on it. So all it does is index in, put the value, index in, put the value. And over here in the set option methods, you see here option 1 get value. If true, set it. If false, unset it. And that's really all there is to that. Now, how does that get hooked to the menus? Well, to see that, we'll go over to the class side and we'll look at how it was built. And I'll go back to the designer in a minute and show you this in the designer. If we come here, we can see we are adding group 1, a menu, and down here we set the initial values and we set the labels, and we make sure these values line up with the checkboxes so that whenever we index into the checkbox list and do something, enable or disable, it lines up with the menu option. So that's really all there is to both of these things here. Again, these match up. Now if I go back to the designer for a minute, let's go ahead and edit this. I'll go and show you where the menus are. So let's pull that down. I'll go to the tools option here, menus, and you see here I have my group 1 menu, option 1, and you notice that I have option 2, option 3, and so on, checklist 1, checklist 2 down here. And that's how these things are all lined up. Everything is structured so that these values line up with the checkboxes, and then they all work when you either enable or disable. So we'll pretty much leave it there for today. That's about it. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.